Throughout history, empires have risen and fallen not only by the size of their armies but by strategy, discipline, and leadership. The Ottoman Empire, which endured for more than 6 centuries, demonstrated time and again that victory on the battlefield depended as much on tactics, organization, and innovation as on the number of soldiers. Reports from historians and military analysts alike emphasize that Ottoman armies often triumphed, even when facing forces far larger than their own. Their success was rooted in rigorous training, advanced military technology, strategic planning, and a culture that prioritized coordination and discipline above brute force. At the heart of the Ottoman military machine was the Janissary Corps, an elite infantry unit that combined loyalty, skill, and innovative tactics. Established in the 14th century, the Janissaries were trained from a young age in the arts of war, from archery and swordsmanship to firearms and siege techniques. Unlike many contemporary armies, which relied heavily on mercenaries or feudal levies, the Janissaries were professional soldiers, paid regularly and bound by strict codes of conduct. Their training emphasized flexibility and rapid adaptation, allowing small units to engage much larger forces with precision and effectiveness. Historians note that Ottoman commanders placed tremendous importance on discipline and organization. Even in battles where their numbers were significantly smaller, Ottoman armies maintained tight formations, coordinated attacks, and utilized reserves strategically. This contrasted sharply with many European armies of the period, which often relied on mass troops but suffered from poor coordination and slow communication. Ottoman soldiers moved with a sense of unity and purpose, understanding not only their individual roles but also the broader objectives of the campaign. Technological advantage played a significant role in Ottoman battlefield successes. The empire was an early adopter of gunpowder weapons, artillery, and firearms. During sieges and open-field battles alike, Ottoman armies employed cannons, muskets, and mobile artillery in ways that overwhelmed larger forces. The famous Siege of Constantinople in 1453 is one of the clearest examples. Despite facing formidable defenses and thousands of defenders, the Ottomans leveraged large cannons, sophisticated siege tactics, and disciplined troops to capture the city, demonstrating that technological innovation and precise execution could overcome sheer numbers. The strategic acumen of Ottoman commanders also contributed to their repeated victories. Leaders such as Mehmed II, Suleiman the Magnificent, and Sokolu Mehmed Pasha understood the importance of intelligence, reconnaissance, and terrain. Ottoman forces often utilized scouts, spies, and local informants to anticipate enemy movements, allowing them to choose battlegrounds and times that favored their smaller but more disciplined armies. Ambushes, feigned retreats, and rapid maneuvers were standard tactics, often enabling them to neutralize numerical disadvantages and sow confusion among opposing forces. Logistics and mobility were another critical factor. The Ottomans developed efficient supply lines and methods to keep their armies well provisioned, even in hostile or remote regions. Cavalry units could move quickly, reinforcing infantry or striking flanks, while infantry maintained defensive positions capable of absorbing enemy attacks. The coordination between different branches of the army, infantry, cavalry, artillery, and naval support, was carefully orchestrated, allowing smaller Ottoman forces to act with the effectiveness of much larger armies. One of the most notable examples of Ottoman skill overcoming superior numbers was the Battle of Mohacs in 1526. Facing a Hungarian army larger in size, the Ottomans achieved a decisive victory through superior strategy, use of artillery, and rapid maneuvering. Reports from contemporary sources indicate that the Hungarian forces were unprepared for the speed and coordination of the Ottoman attack, resulting in one of the most comprehensive victories in the empire's history. Similar patterns emerged in battles across the Balkans, North Africa, and the Middle East, where disciplined Ottoman troops repeatedly outmaneuvered numerically superior opponents. The empire's approach to leadership also contributed to battlefield effectiveness. Ottoman commanders were chosen not simply for lineage or wealth, but for proven ability, tactical insight, and loyalty to the Sultan. Military councils allowed for collaborative decision-making, ensuring that plans were carefully considered and executed. Soldiers were trained to follow orders precisely while retaining the flexibility to respond to changing conditions, a combination that often gave Ottoman forces the edge over larger, less disciplined armies. The psychological aspect of warfare was equally important. Ottoman soldiers were instilled with a sense of purpose and confidence, understanding the strategic importance of their missions and the value placed on honor and loyalty. In many battles, smaller Ottoman forces maintained morale and cohesion even when facing overwhelming odds, while larger enemy armies suffered from confusion, disorganization, and fear. This mental discipline often proved decisive, allowing Ottoman commanders to exploit weaknesses in enemy formations and secure victory through precision rather than mass. European observers frequently marveled at the effectiveness of the Ottoman military. Diplomatic reports and travelogues from the 15th to 17th centuries describe astonishment at the empire's ability to deploy troops efficiently, execute complex maneuvers, and maintain cohesion under pressure. The Ottomans' reputation for battlefield prowess contributed not only to military victories but also to deterrence, as potential opponents understood that numerical superiority alone would not guarantee success. Moreover, the empire's administrative structure reinforced military efficiency. Provincial governors and military leaders were integrated into a centralized system that allowed for rapid mobilization, consistent supply, and effective communication. Orders from Istanbul could reach frontier regions quickly, and local commanders were empowered to act decisively while remaining accountable to central authority. This combination of centralized control and tactical autonomy created a flexible and responsive military system, capable of overcoming larger forces through planning and coordination. The Ottoman tradition of adapting to changing conditions further strengthened their armies. As warfare evolved with new weapons and tactics, the empire incorporated innovations without sacrificing discipline or cohesion. From the introduction of firearms and artillery to the use of naval support in coordinated campaigns, Ottoman forces consistently demonstrated the ability to integrate technology, intelligence, and strategy to overcome numerical disadvantages. Even in cases where the empire faced coalition forces from multiple European states, Ottoman armies often prevailed. This was not merely a matter of battlefield skill, but a reflection of the empire's broader understanding of war as a combination of preparation, strategy, and psychological advantage. Smaller, well-led, and disciplined forces could exploit confusion, command errors, and logistical weaknesses in larger armies, turning what might appear to be a disadvantage into a decisive advantage. The legacy of the Ottoman military system continues to be studied by historians and military scholars. Its combination of professional training, strategic innovation, disciplined execution, and psychological preparation offers lessons on the power of organization and leadership. The ability of Ottoman forces to consistently win against larger armies demonstrates that numbers alone do not determine the outcome of war. Intelligence, planning, and cohesion are often more decisive. In conclusion, the repeated victories of the Ottoman armies, even when outnumbered, were the result of a sophisticated combination of factors: disciplined soldiers, innovative use of technology, strategic planning, efficient logistics, effective leadership, and psychological preparation. The empire's success on the battlefield reflected a deep understanding of warfare as a complex system where numbers were only one element among many. By mastering these principles, the Ottomans built one of the most formidable military powers of the early modern world, demonstrating that skill, strategy, and organization can triumph over sheer numerical strength. Across centuries, the empire proved that victory does not always belong to the largest army. The Ottomans' combination of preparation, discipline, and tactical ingenuity allowed them to shape the course of history, expand their territories, and defend their empire against adversaries far larger in number. Their legacy reminds us that in war, as in governance, intelligence, adaptability, and cohesion, often outweigh brute force, leaving a mark on history that endures to this day.